Right now, somewhere in the world, a missile is in the air, and you already know how you feel about it before the facts, before the context, before anyone explains what happened. You already picked a side. The question isn't why that happens with the US-Iran war. The question is, why did you open this video in the first place? Think about the last time you watched news about Iran. Maybe it was the airstrikes in late February. Maybe it was Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe it was Trump's posts on Truth Social threatening to blow up power plants. Whatever it was, it made you feel something strong. Outrage, vindication, fear, contempt. And here's the uncomfortable part. You went back for more. You refreshed. You clicked the next video. You read the comments. And it didn't calm you down, it made it worse. So why did you keep going? Here's what most people assume. You watch political content because you want to be informed. That's not why. If information was the goal, you'd stop when you had enough. But you don't stop. You scroll deeper. There's a reason your brain keeps pulling you back, and it has nothing to do with caring about geopolitics. It has everything to do with who you think you are. Step 1. Your brain is running a threat detection loop. When you see a headline, Iran closes Strait of Hormuz, or US Navy seizes Iranian cargo ship, your amygdala fires before your frontal cortex even processes the words. This is threat detection. It evolved to keep you alive. But your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a threat to your body and a threat to your worldview. So when you see political content that contradicts what you believe, that Iran was provoked, or that Iran is dangerous, or that Trump is reckless, or that Trump is right, your brain registers it as a physical threat. And then it does something fascinating. It gets addicted to it. Step 2, outrage is a drug. Anger releases dopamine. Not the calm, satisfied dopamine of completing a task. The sharp, urgent dopamine of being right while someone else is wrong. Every time you watch a clip of protesters in Tehran, or Trump threatening military escalation, or an Iranian official calling the naval blockade an act of war, your brain gives you a small reward for having a strong reaction. You're not watching because you want answers. You're watching because the anger feels like clarity, and clarity, even when it's false, feels better than confusion. Step 3. The content was built for this. Now here's where it gets more uncomfortable. The algorithm didn't stumble onto your anger by accident. It was engineered for it. Every platform, YouTube, X, TikTok, rewards content that keeps you engaged. And the content that keeps you most engaged isn't balanced. It isn't nuanced. It's content that confirms what you already believe and makes you furious at the people who don't. Think about how the US-Iran conflict has been packaged for your feed. If you're on one side, you're seeing clips of US airstrikes framed as reckless imperialism. You're seeing Iranian civilians. You're seeing international law experts calling the naval blockade a violation of sovereignty. If you're on the other side, you're seeing Iran's nuclear threat framed as existential. You're seeing intercepted missiles and drones. You're seeing Trump claim he's winning. Same war, completely different reality. And both versions were curated specifically for you. Real-world connection. Here's what that looks like in practice. Right now, the US-Iran ceasefire is extended barely. Trump says Iran's government is seriously fractured. Iran's foreign minister calls the US naval blockade an act of war. Peace talks in Pakistan collapsed before they even began. This situation is genuinely complex. There are real civilian lives at stake. The Strait of Hormuz closure affects global oil prices, which affects your life wherever you are. But when you watch coverage of this, are you trying to understand it? Or are you watching to have your existing view confirmed? Here's the test. When you see reporting that makes the side you distrust look reasonable, do you keep watching or do you close the tab? Most people close the tab. And most people think they're the ones seeking truth. This is what psychologists call motivated reasoning. It's not ignorance. It's not stupidity. In fact, and this is the part most people don't want to hear, the more politically engaged you are, the worse this gets. the more informed you believe yourself to be, the more confident you become in a version of reality that was designed to keep you angry. You're not watching political content to learn. You're watching to reinforce a story about yourself, who you stand with, what you oppose, what kind of person you are. Think about what it felt like when the US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran in late February. Your first reaction before you read a single analysis was already decided, because your political identity had already told you how to feel. That's not critical thinking. That's belonging to a tribe. Controlled contradiction. Here's something that will bother you, depending on which side you're on. Both sides of this conflict have committed actions that, if done by the other side, you would find completely unacceptable. The US launched surprise airstrikes during active peace negotiations. Iran closed a global shipping corridor affecting countries that had nothing to do with the conflict. If your side did those things, you have a reason. If their side does those things, it's proof of who they really are. This asymmetry isn't a flaw in your reasoning. It's a feature. Your brain built it deliberately, because maintaining the internal consistency of your worldview is more important to your sense of identity than being accurate. And political content, all of it, regardless of which outlet, which channel, which direction, has learned to feed that need. So here's where I'll leave you. Not with a conclusion, not with a solution, just with a question. The next time you open a video about the Iran war or any political conflict, and you feel that immediate pull of anger or righteousness, ask yourself, am I watching to understand? Or am I watching because it feels good to be certain? Because the content will keep coming. The ceasefire will break or hold. There will be new airstrikes or new negotiations or a deal that everyone argues about for years. And every single day, your feed will have something ready for you. Something designed to make you feel seen. Something designed to make you feel right. Something designed to make you angry. The question isn't whether it's working. The question is, who is it working for?